Do you ever feel like success is slipping through your fingers, no matter how hard you try? You read books, you watch motivational videos, you push yourself day after day, but somehow, it feels like everyone else is moving faster while you're stuck in the same place. Maybe you've worked yourself to exhaustion, yet the results don't match the effort. It's frustrating, isn't it? It's almost like success is reserved for a select few, those people who seem to have a secret formula that the rest of us were never given. But here's the truth. There is no secret club. The difference is not talent. It's not luck. It's not even money. The difference lies in habits, tiny, almost invisible choices repeated every single day. And no one understood this better than Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, a man who went from being rejected by dozens of jobs including KFC to becoming one of the richest 10 most influential entrepreneurs in the world. In this video, I'm going to break down Jack Ma's ultimate success formula. We're not talking about vague inspiration or random quotes. We're talking about the 3 daily habits that transformed his life and that can completely change yours if you truly apply them. These habits are not complicated, but they are powerful. They are the bridge between where you are now and the future you dream about. And listen carefully, because if you stay with me until the end of this video, you won't just know what those 3 habits are, you'll feel exactly why they matter. And you'll understand how to weave them into your own life starting today. If you want to build a future that doesn't depend on luck, if you're tired of waiting for opportunities to knock and you're ready to create them yourself, then stick with me. And hey, if personal growth and success really matter to you, consider subscribing to this channel right now so you don't miss the kind of knowledge that can change everything. Now let's dive into the first piece of Jack Ma's formula. This is the foundation, the habit that separates those who stay average from those who break free. The first daily habit that shaped Jack Ma's entire life, the one that became the seed of Alibaba and every success he later achieved, is deceptively simple. He developed a habit of embracing rejection and using it as fuel. Now, at first glance, that doesn't even sound like a habit, does it? It sounds more like an experience, something you go through. But I want you to understand this the way Jack Ma understood it. Rejection is not an event, it's a daily practice. It's something you build into your psychology until you almost crave it, because you know that every no is secretly a step closer to a bigger yes. Think about it. Most people are terrified of rejection. We avoid it like the plague. We don't ask for what we want, because we're scared the answer will be no. We don't take bold chances, because the thought of failing in front of others is unbearable. And because of that fear, we play small. We play safe. We live inside a cage built out of invisible walls we've created for ourselves. But Jack Ma, he flipped that story completely. He made rejection his classroom. Imagine being rejected from dozens of jobs, including something as ordinary as a fast food chain. KFC came to his city. They hired 23 people out of 24 applicants. Jack Ma was the one left out. Most people would see that as humiliation. He saw it as training. And here's the kicker: he went through these rejections not once, not twice, but so many times that eventually his skin became bulletproof. Rejection stopped feeling like pain and started feeling like progress. Now pause for a second and ask yourself, what's your relationship with rejection right now? Do you run from it, or do you run toward it? Because here's the reality: success is on the other side of rejection. Always. If you're not getting rejected, you're not pushing far enough. You're staying inside the comfort zone where nothing extraordinary ever happens. Jack Ma once said, "Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine." That's not just poetic. That's the blueprint of someone who learned that you can't get to sunshine without going through the storm. Rejection is the storm, but if you can endure it long enough, if you can face it daily, if you can even laugh at it, eventually the sky clears. Let me give you a practical way to apply this. Try what I call the rejection challenge. Every single day, deliberately put yourself in a position where the answer could be no. It doesn't have to be huge. Ask for a discount in a store. Ask someone you admire for advice. Pitch your idea to someone who intimidates you. The point isn't whether they say yes or no. The point is to build the muscle of hearing no and not flinching. Do this every day for 30 days, and you'll notice something incredible. Rejection stops being scary. It becomes normal. It becomes data. And when rejection loses its sting, you gain power. You're free to take bolder risks, and bold risks are the birthplace of success. Jack Ma wasn't special in the traditional sense. He wasn't a genius. He didn't come from money, he wasn't even particularly good at school, he failed his college entrance exams twice. But what he mastered was resilience. And resilience is built the same way muscles are built through resistance. Every no he faced was a weight lifted, a rep completed, until he became mentally unbreakable. Picture it like this. Most people live their lives carrying a fragile balloon. Every rejection is a pin that might pop it, so they spend their lives avoiding pins. Jack Ma lived as if he was made of steel. Pins couldn't hurt him anymore. And that's the shift I want you to make. Because if you want to create a business, a career, or even a life that stands out, you're going to face more no's than you can count. But if you build a habit of treating each one as progress, then instead of breaking you, rejection builds you. Let me share a story that illustrates this. There's a man named Jia Zhang who actually did something crazy. He went on a 100-day journey of rejection. Every day, he intentionally asked for something ridiculous just to be told no, like asking to plant a tree in someone's backyard or requesting Olympic-style donuts at Krispy Kreme. Most people laughed at him, some turned him down, but others surprisingly said yes. The point wasn't what he got, it was who he became. He trained his brain to stop fearing rejection, and it transformed his confidence. That's exactly what Jack Ma did, except he did it with real life, long before it became a challenge on the internet. So here's the question. What would your life look like if you stopped fearing no? If you could walk into rooms, pitch your ideas, take your shot, and not care whether people rejected you? Imagine how many more chances you would take. How many more doors you would knock on. How many more opportunities you would actually create, instead of waiting for life to hand them to you. Because let's face it, most people miss their breakthrough not because they aren't capable, but because they quit too early. They stopped after the third rejection, when the fourth one would have opened the door. Jack Ma kept going, and that persistence turned an English teacher into a billionaire entrepreneur. So here's your takeaway for habit number 1. Build rejection into your daily life. Make it your training ground. Every no is not a wall, it's a stepping stone. If you can practice this consistently, you'll develop a resilience so powerful that nothing, not failure, not criticism, not setbacks can stop you. That's when the game changes. That's when you stop being average and start becoming unstoppable. And before we move on, let me ask you directly, are you starting to see the pattern here? The people who change the world aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who lean into it. If you want to keep learning exactly how Jack Ma rewired his daily life to build unstoppable momentum, then stay with me because the next habit is even more powerful. And by the way, if you're finding this valuable, hit that like button. Not just to support this channel, but to commit to yourself that you're serious about building these habits. Now let's move to habit number 2. The second daily habit that defined Jack Ma's journey is one that most people underestimate, yet it is the very reason Alibaba became more than just another business idea. That habit is this. He built the practice of thinking long-term and making small, consistent moves every single day toward a vision that most people couldn't even see. Now, let's be honest, most people live in the short term. They want instant results. They want the six-pack in 6 days. They want the business to blow up overnight. They want their YouTube channel to go viral after 3 videos. And when it doesn't happen, they give up. They quit, because their brains are trained for instant gratification, not delayed reward. But Jack Ma understood something most of us forget. Success is never sudden. What looks like an overnight success is actually the visible peak of a mountain built slowly, stone by stone, day after day. Every daily action, no matter how small, compounds. And that compounding effect is invisible at first until suddenly it's undeniable. Think about bamboo. Bamboo spends 5 years growing underground before you see anything above the surface. During those 5 years, it looks like nothing is happening. People may even laugh at you, telling you you're wasting your time watering empty soil. But what they don't see is the roots and entire network forming beneath the ground, preparing for explosive growth. And then, after 5 years, bamboo can shoot up 90 feet in just 6 weeks. That's not magic, that's compounding. That's long-term vision meeting daily patience. Jack Ma built his career like bamboo. He didn't look for shortcuts. In fact, he famously said, if there are 9 rabbits on the ground, and you want to catch one, just focus on one. Don't chase all 9. That's the mindset of a man who knew how to focus on one long-term goal without getting distracted by shiny objects. When he first pitched the idea of an internet company in China, almost no one believed in him. People laughed. They said, "You don't understand technology. You don't know how to code. You don't have money, how can you possibly succeed? And guess what? They were right about the short term. He didn't succeed immediately. He failed many times, but because he could see further than the people around him, he kept planting seeds, day after day, and eventually, those seeds became Alibaba company worth hundreds of billions. Here's where this becomes practical for you. Most of the time, people overestimate what they can do in 1 month and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. Jack Ma flipped that. He set his mind to think in decades. And you can do the same. Here's how. Step 1. Define your long-term vision. Not just vague goals like I want to be successful. I mean vivid, specific vision. What does your life look like 10 years from now if everything goes right? Where do you live? What do you do every day? What kind of people are around you? Write that down. Make it real. Step 2. Reverse engineer daily actions. Ask yourself, what is one small thing I can do today that moves me even 1 inch closer to that vision? It doesn't matter if it looks insignificant. A book read today compounds into knowledge tomorrow. A single video uploaded compounds into an audience a year from now. A tiny investment compounds into wealth over time. The secret is consistency. Step 3. Learn to love the boring stuff. This is the hardest part. Success is not exciting most days. Success is often repetition, discipline, showing up when nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering, when nobody is paying attention. Jack Ma said, "We are never in lack of money. We lack people with dreams, people who can die for those dreams." That's the key. If your dream is strong enough, you'll embrace the boring days because you know they are building your roots. Let me tell you a story. Early on, when Jack Ma started Alibaba, he gathered 18 of his friends in his apartment. Imagine that 18 people cramped into a tiny room, talking about this dream of building an online marketplace in a country where most people had never even used the internet. It sounded crazy, but they believed in the long-term vision. For months, they worked with almost nothing. They weren't making money. They weren't recognized. They weren't sure it would even work. But they planted the bamboo seed. And years later, that seed exploded into one of the most influential companies in history. Here's the part most people miss. Those 18 people didn't just show up once. They showed up every single day, consistently, even when it felt pointless. That's what long-term thinking looks like. And that's the habit you need to build. So, let me challenge you directly. Where in your life are you chasing short-term hits instead of building long-term roots? Maybe it's your fitness, you want quick results instead of a lifestyle. Maybe it's money, you want fast cash instead of wealth that compounds. Maybe it's relationships, you're chasing instant attraction instead of building meaningful connections. What if you stop playing the short game? What if you built habits that your future self will thank you for 5 years from now? That's how you transform. That's how you go from ordinary to extraordinary. Jack Ma often joked about how people called him crazy. But in reality, he wasn't crazy, he was patient. He was willing to look foolish in the short term because he knew the payoff would come in the long term. And if you can adopt that same habit, if you can train yourself to think in decades while acting daily, you'll unlock a level of progress most people never touch. So here's your practical action for habit number 2. Create a long-term list. On one side, write your 10-year vision in detail. On the other side, write 3 daily actions you can commit to right now that align with that vision. Don't try to do everything at once. Remember, the rabbits focus on one. Stick with it daily, even when it feels boring, even when nobody notices. Because one day, when the bamboo shoots, everyone else will call it luck, but you'll know the truth, it was daily, disciplined habit. Let me ask you this. Are you willing to look foolish today in order to look brilliant tomorrow? Because that's what separates dreamers from achievers. Most people want the glory without the grind. Jack Ma embraced the grind, and that's why his name is known around the world. So as you reflect on this second habit, think about your own roots. Are you building them? Or are you still watering empty soil, expecting results without patience? Remember, the best time to plant bamboo was 5 years ago. The second best time is today. And before we jump to habit number 3, the one that truly ties all of this together, do me a quick favor. If you're getting value from this and you want to keep growing with me, hit that subscribe button. Because what's coming next is the exact principle Jack Ma used, not just to survive rejection, not just to think long-term, but to inspire millions of people and build a team that changed history. The third daily habit, the one that truly multiplied everything Jack Ma ever did, is the habit of inspiring people and creating energy. Not just for himself, but for everyone around him. You can think of it like this. Rejection made him resilient. Long-term vision gave him direction. But this final habit gave him power. Power not in the sense of control, but in the sense of influence. Ability to unite people behind a dream so massive that it scared most of them at first, and yet, slowly, it became reality. Let me ask you something. How far do you think you could go alone? Honestly, you might have talent. You might have drive. You might even have some resources. But every mountain worth climbing requires more than just one pair of hands. It requires a team, a network, a circle of people who believe in something bigger than themselves. Most people fail, not because their dream is too small, but because they try to carry it alone. Jack Ma never made that mistake. From the very beginning, he cultivated the daily habit of communicating his vision in a way that lit a fire in others. He wasn't the smartest in the room. He wasn't the most technical. He didn't know how to code, but he knew how to make people believe. And that, right there, is why Alibaba exists today. Think back to those 18 people in his apartment, the very first team. Why did they follow him? He couldn't promise them wealth at the time. He couldn't even promise them success. What he gave them was something rarer: belief. Every single day, he spoke about the future with such energy, such conviction, that his words became contagious. And that habit of lifting people up, of transmitting energy, became the backbone of his empire. Here's the part most people miss. Energy is not an accident. It's not just about being born charismatic. It's a habit. It's something you cultivate daily by choosing your mindset, by focusing on possibility instead of limitation, by learning how to speak hope into situations where others only see problems. Jack Ma did this deliberately. Every meeting, every speech, every interaction was an opportunity to energize people. He once said, "Your employees should always be number one, your customers number two, and investors number three." Think about how radical that is. In a world obsessed with money, he put people above profit. And that's not just a nice slogan, it was a daily discipline. He invested his time in motivating his team because he understood something crucial. A motivated team will outwork and outlast a rich competitor. Inspiration compounds just like money does. Now, let's make this practical for you. How do you build the habit of inspiring others daily? Step 1. Watch your words. Every single day, the language you use is either lifting people up or tearing them down. Most people complain, gossip, criticize. Jack Ma encouraged, envisioned, motivated. You can start by replacing one complaint a day with a word of possibility. Instead of "this will never work," say, "How can we make this work?" Step 2. Share your vision often. Don't keep your dream locked in your head. Speak it, even if it feels uncomfortable. Every day, articulate where you're going. People don't follow uncertainty, they follow clarity. Even if the path is uncertain, clarity of vision creates trust. Step 3. Celebrate progress, not just outcomes. Jack Ma had a habit of recognizing effort. When his team took small steps, he applauded them. Why? Because success is built on momentum, and nothing creates momentum faster than recognition. Every day, you have the power to spark motivation in others simply by noticing their effort. Let me give you a story. When Alibaba was still struggling, they faced enormous competition. American giants were moving into China. Investors doubted them. The media mocked them. Imagine the pressure of leading a small team against global corporations with billions in resources. Many leaders would have panicked. Many would have burned out. But Jack Ma showed up every day with energy. He cracked jokes in the darkest moments. He reminded his team of the vision when reality looked impossible. And because of that, his people didn't give up. They stayed. They fought. They built something bigger than themselves. Now think about your own life. Who are the people around you? Your friends, your colleagues, your family. Are you feeding them energy or draining them? Every day, you're either inspiring your circle or pulling them down without realizing it. What if, starting today, you made it a habit to inspire, to be the one who brings light into the room instead of more shadows? Here's the truth. People don't remember every detail of what you do. They remember how you made them feel. And if you can consistently make people feel hope, possibility, belief, then doors will open for you that talent alone could never open. That's why Jack Ma, a man with no technical background, no coding skills, no rich family, was able to build one of the biggest tech companies in the world. He had the habit of inspiring belief, and belief moves mountains. So here's your challenge for habit number 3. Each day, find one person to inspire. It doesn't have to be grand. Send an encouraging message. Recognize someone's effort. Share your vision. Crack a joke when things feel heavy. If you do this daily, you'll notice something extraordinary. Not only will your circle grow stronger, but you yourself will feel more energized, because the habit of inspiring others always reflects back onto you. And let me ask you a final question before we wrap this up. What would happen if you combined all three of these habits? If you trained yourself to embrace rejection daily, if you disciplined yourself to think long-term and plant seeds every day, and if you inspired others around you with energy and vision, where could you be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? The answer is simple. You wouldn't just be chasing success, you'd become unstoppable. So, as we close, remember Jack Ma's ultimate success formula is not about luck, not about talent, not about being born into privilege. It's about daily habits. Habits so simple, you might overlook them, but so powerful they can change your life forever. Rejection becomes resilience. Patience becomes compounding growth. Inspiration becomes influence. And when you master these, there's no limit to what you can achieve. And hey, if this message has resonated with you, if you feel even a spark of motivation right now, don't let it fade. Lock it in. Subscribe to this channel, because I promise you we're just getting started. Together, we'll keep exploring the habits, the mindsets, the stories that turn ordinary people into legends. Now, it's your move. What habit will you start building today?